Good morning, everybody. So, the day we've been waiting for, the frame is back. It's all epoxied and it looks amazing. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at it. There's the Bronco frame. Just picked it up at the sandblasting shop and they did a great job. It's all epoxied. Worst case scenario is on these supports here. That looks a little rough, but I mean it's still solid, and it is only a shock, and if it actually broke then I could fix it, but everything else is really good. It's solid. There's the new Bobcat bumper sitting in the pieces. I primed it today. There's the front part of the tub ready to go on, and there's the radiator support and the floor for the back of the truck and the grill all painted. There's all kinds of things going on. Anyway, we're getting into some exciting stuff now. So the big day. This is where we're at. We brought the frame back from the sandblasting shop the other day. It's all sandblasted, epoxy, and 99% of it's painted. We didn't paint up by the front springs, as you'll see there in a second, because our nice springs that are over there are going, these bad boys. Oh. So they're going on here.
You can lose power.
Oh, really?
No switch power. Just put a new meter on. It's going to take 14 minutes. Power will be up.
Seriously?
Power will be up.
I'm going to stop production for 10 minutes. This is crazy. The whole world's going to be upset.
Coffee break.
No sweat, man. When are you going to do it?
Right now.
Okay. Going to lose my power in 2 seconds here because they're changing the meter on the house. Anyway, all joking aside, we are going to lose our power in a couple seconds because the Nova Scotia Power is here and they're changing the meter on the house, so we'll lose it for about 10 minutes. On these trucks, if you see somebody lifting the hood, you see a beautiful engine compartment, everything's shiny, and I agree with all that, I love it. But on these old Broncos, they rusted like a bugger, and there were some spots that were habitual rusters. And almost as much, like you could spend a fortune restoring a truck and then drive it out in one snowstorm or whatever around here with the salt, and then the spring, you got rust showing up. So what I've done here is, you can see this area. Basically, this is upside down. So this is the floor pan right here, right across. There, we just lost our power. Wow, so that was kind of funny, wasn't it? So we lost our power. While the power was out, I took and lifted the firewall back on top of the frame, and we're starting the reconstruction or the reassembly of the back portion of the truck. But what I didn't want to get lost in that message was that I'm trying to make sure that the top of the firewall stays really, really nice and clean. It'll be all painted and it'll look pretty. But down underneath that one edge where we go down towards the floor, that's not painted with the same color paint as the truck. That's actually got Easy Guard on it and trim clad paint over top of that as well, just to try and limit the rust down that lower portion. So I didn't really explain it that well, and we got kind of confused with the power outage. So that's where we're at. I'm just going to show you a couple things here that I think are pretty cool. So all this, like we talked about before, is all squared up, and it was all put together when the other half of the body was on. And if you remember this morning, I was talking about how I wanted to have the firewall looking really good, but I wasn't as concerned with the bottom, and that looks really nice in there now. That's all got the Easy Guard on it, and that should stop it from rusting. I mean, obviously you can't stop it forever, but if somebody takes care of this besides me, I mean, it'll be parked inside every night for me. And basically we're going to start off by finding the center right here and the center on the floor, line those up, screw them down, get everything all set up, and go from there. Then it won't take us too long before we got fenders and sides and everything. I mean, it's hard to believe, but here's obviously the cross brace that's going to go across the back that fits in just below the tailgate. All these little pieces make up the corners and everything like that. There's your back striker plate, the two of them. And then we've got a couple other pieces over here. These make up the actual corners of the back of the truck. and they hold the tailgate in place. And there's the other halves are in these boxes right here. Anyway, sorry I'm bouncing all over the place with the camera, but that's what's going on. Morning everyone. Today's an exciting day. So you can see here, I've got the floor set up on top of the Bronco. Just kind of planning things out in my head. So first step is going to be putting the cross support across the back here. Oh, let me see. How do I do this? Here we are. Okay, so support here is going to go across the back of the truck. This may or may not be the wrong way right now, just kind of sitting in place here so you can see. So this is going to go in place on top of the new mounts that we've got right here. And then I'm going to find the center exactly, find the center of the bed. We're going to set that in place, kind of mark it out. And then I have this cross member that's going to be welded on the bottom of the floor. And then suddenly we'll be rolling. And I'm going to weld that much because it's pretty hard to make a mistake on that. And I'd like to try and keep up with the welding as far as I could because there's going to be enough where I've got everything screwed together and I got to take it apart and put it back together again. So anyway, so I'm going to keep you posted. We're going to set these things in place and take some video as we're going along. So here we are. The front portion of the Bronco is square, straight. We've added the bed, basically, you know, the floor to the bed. The back, it's straight and square. Put some screws into it. I'm going to throw a few more screws across the front and the back. And I was trying to figure out exactly how I was going to approach this whole thing. Because I've seen a lot of videos, things go wrong, things go right. And I was just going to start here and I was going to throw the striker plates up. And, you know, start to install the box in the back. And then I realized, in order to do that properly, I gotta hang the doors. I gotta be able to put the doors on, take them off, you know, that sort of thing. So I decided I'm going to put, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've got the rad support sitting right here. And I'm going to install it right now. See, we just turn that a tiny bit. There we go. So you can see that. So I'm going to install that, and I'm going to install I'm going to mock up the inner fenders, and so that I can throw the front fenders on, because everything really has to work. It's almost like you just can't do this section and get it all tied in here and walk away from it. You almost have to have the whole truck mocked up. And I could be wrong with that, but it just seems to me that if I can mock the whole thing up and get everything square, get the lines nice, everything like that, then it's going to go a lot smoother for me. Now, having said that, my plan though is to take the whole body off again, because I have no motor here yet, or my transmission I do have, that's up in the loft, it's all rebuilt, transfer case is all rebuilt, everything is ready to go. Got a twin shifters to put on it, I think that are going to be really, really cool. I like that kind of stuff. But anyway, there's a lot of on and off, but I can't see how I can go wrong if I get the rad support in place, and I get the inner fenders on, and then I hang my actual fenders, and then I come back here, well actually do that, and then hang the door, because this section is not really going anywhere. Even though the back of the truck isn't on, the front is all built. It's here, it's solid, it's, you know, and it's fastened to the body mounts. So I should be able to hang the door here and close and shut it. And if I can close and shut it, and the striker plate is here, that should give me some really good lines to make sure that everything is working properly. And then once the striker plate is in place, roughly, then I can go ahead and put the quarters on, the two sections, the up and the bottom. And if everything is going well, then I can put in the little blocks here and my wheel wells and everything like that. Anyway, that's my plan. We'll see whether or not it works. First step here is going to be to install the firewall. And I'm looking at it and thinking, wow, is that ever low? And then I realized I got to put the blocks under it and all that good stuff. Anyway, wish me luck. This side, and you can see, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. We might be off by like a 1/16 of an inch from top to bottom. Where the bottom of the door runs along the rocker panel, you know, it's pretty even. Of course, we haven't gotten to the back portion here yet where we've got to install the rear striker plate, but hopefully that'll go pretty good. And oh, don't want to catch myself on that, do I? Whoa. Anyhow, so on this side, not nearly as good. It's about 1/8 of an inch at the top and probably more like 1/4 at the bottom. And I'm going to have to do some work on that. I've got to take that fender off because this is really strange the way this front door post is kind of twisted. In any case, I do have a little advice. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it with this truck. I tried, but if you're replacing the doorpost on any of these ones and you're able to keep your kick plate or something in place, something that was on the truck when it was stable. I mean, it could be a matter of tracing out on the inside of your kick plate exactly where the post attaches, or any point of reference, because photographs are great and I've taken lots of them, but there's, like you'll see here, there's no real spot where these actually, you know, where there's a stop and go point where you say, okay, well, we put the doorpost right here and this is exactly where it's supposed to line up to the cowl. Well, you don't get that. You kind of get, this truck is actually different than the last truck I did, and it's really kind of bizarre, but you got to be close. Wow. Okay, so there you go. Next week we continue on with the back portion of the body. Hopefully the windshield gets installed, and you're going to start seeing some huge changes as we're going along right now. And stick with me. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. If you're on Facebook, share it with your other friends in other parts of the country. And I think that this could be really helpful for, especially for some guys that are building a Bronco or doing repairs, because we're touching on everything here. I apologize for the fact that you can't have the camera going all the time on things I'm doing, because like what you just saw there, that was probably, that was at least 2 to 3 weeks worth of work. And to have my iPhone going all the time, just it's almost overwhelming. But anyway, I hope you see I hope you enjoy what you're seeing. And the deeper we get, individual little jobs, I'm definitely going to have hands-on, and you're going to watch it happen. Anyway, thanks a lot, and have a fantastic day.